national soccer champs. I mean, it's a very good school.
Division III soccer.
Thanks for the English to Hebrew translation.
Did you like that? Right on the fly.
Yeah, I was confused what Messiah meant.
Right on the fly.
I wasn't sure. I was back and forth over the definition.
The two-state solution Jews, it starts in Israel, Norm. You can't, it's not like it starts on the Upper West Side. It started in Israel.
I understand.
So, you can't be holier than the Pope. I don't know your point. My point is that they're taking their cues from Israelis. The two-state solution thing didn't start on the Upper West Side. It started with Israelis.
Which I've shared with you, which is which I've changed since October 7th, that how are we going to have dominion over a couple of million Palestinians? How are we going to do that?
Right. There are multiple answers.
Well, short of expulsion or something.
No. Well, one is very simple.
Expel
the 300,000 jihadist radicals, and then you're left with 1.7 million people who are, who can be part of the society. That's one. Another is a confederation where they are citizens of Jordan, citizens of Egypt. I don't know. I mean, yes, Shuki would have the most extreme situation, but unfortunately, I don't see the mechanics of doing it, So those are some thoughts, but there are multiple ways. I just laid out 2 or 3, This is, but it beats the alternative. The alternative is to have a Palestinian homeland in Gaza and Judea Samaria that is constantly at war with Israel, that's being run by Iran, that has rockets all over, tunnels constantly being dug. I mean, that is the worst case. That's worse than any of the other ones. Because it's not going to be, they won't agree to the terms that Israel has put out there, which is a demilitarized state with monitoring systems. They just won't agree. They want a state that they can wage a war from. And that's why we're in this conundrum. Hey, come on in. We'll sit over behind you when you come in. Thanks. Have a seat. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Well, I think it's very difficult. Liberal neighbors and a bunch of illiberal people that want to come into the state. I mean, you can't. A liberal society where you have gay rights and individual rights and religious freedom.
Go ahead, Scott. I'm going to mute it.
And what you think of as normal, right? It would last. You're not normal globally because most societies probably are not Western liberal by our standards. But when you've got a society.
Hello?
You can't bring in.
Hello? Hello?
Right? And still have a
Hello?
democracy. You just can't have that.
Hello?
It's not gonna.
Hello? Hello?
I mean, one advantage America has with our border, and we can debate the southern border and how secure it should be, and how permanent it should be. But the people that come through the southern border love America. Right? They want to be more American than Americans. They're working on behalf of Americans. They want to be Americans, right? They don't want to undermine Americans. They want to sort of be more American than the average American. That's what they do, right? I mean, that works, right? That revitalizes their society in some ways because you've got people that get the DNA of the host country and they want to sort of go on. I think it's very difficult when you have a different immigration sort of dynamic, which I think Europe has struggled, right? I mean, Europe has brought in folks from the liberal countries that don't understand free speech, don't understand freedom. You get a satire of the prophet and you get stabbed and this is the hard thing. Adam, welcome. How are I mean, if you want to have a liberal society, if you don't have a liberal society,
This is a good book. Notes, what do you call it? Notes on a liberal society.
And then he has another one. Sometimes in the same book is the idea of a Christian society. Sometimes you get them both in the same. Here's Mr. Jeff, the great Mr. Jeff. I like when he became Mr. Jeff, like Mr. T. Mr. Jeff is. Here comes Mr. Jeff, the great Mr. Jeff. Jeff, I'm trying to bring you up. Anybody else bring Jeff up? I can't bring him up. I'm hitting him. Sure. There he goes. There he goes. Hey, Jeff. Mr. Jeff.
What an introduction. Hello.
One of the greats of Congress. One of the all-time Congress great personalities.
And in fact, I earned my moniker Mr. Jeff legitimately. It wasn't self-imposed. The great scholar. So how you been, Scott? I want you to come up and say hi.
I'm good, buddy. I'm good, buddy. I don't see as many of you. Isn't this sort of where the DSA folks are here?
Yeah, it is, and that's sort of like they didn't learn from 60 million dead between the Soviet Union and China. Like socialism just doesn't work.
Well,
Parts of it do, like the Nordic countries have got a pretty interesting take on, applying it around social services, but not the, eliminating the ownership of the means of production or making the means of production state-run.
I think the height of Reagan's victory, right, was when it was the Clinton presidency, right? When your opposition takes on your mantle, right? When Clinton says, "There, okay, government is welfare reform." Clinton had his own version of Doge, right, which was actually successful. I mean, if you believe in that kind of government efficiency, it's successful. That is the Reaganite winning, right? Saying like, look, he's running to embrace us. Now, I don't think no Democrat would fashion themselves after Reagan or Clinton. I mean, in fact, Clinton now, I think among mainstream Democrats is looked at as the betrayal, right? The one that let the fox into the henhouse.
You mean the guy that allowed conservative ideology to infect his second term?
Yes, and by most accounts, I mean, look, I think if you're a sort of non-ideological person, you look at that and say, this is success, right? I mean, you wind up with a two-term presidency that I think most people, again, they're not overly ideological, look at Clinton as relatively successful, right? right? It was good. It's a good 8 years.
Well, you see, this is the difference between him and Obama. Obama doubled down when he got the message, when he got his soul acting, he got his message that the country wanted a bit of moderation. So then he pulled out his pen and his phone and said, and responded with executive orders. I think, at least he said he was.
Yeah. And he didn't have the partners the Clinton did. I don't think he had Clinton's capacity to reach across the aisle, their hands across the aisle. Clinton had things that Obama didn't have.
Clinton was a much more experienced politician, like much more. And maybe also had a broader vision.
Well, I think community organizers, that's a very political position. I think
Get a well level.
very large wealth of information.
But for Obamacare, he did. I mean, look, he did not come at the Republicans with a left-wing program, right? And he took something that was originally inherited. This was when Hillary was taking a more single-payer healthcare reform option under Clinton's presidency. The Heritage Foundation floated the nascent, Obamacare, which became Romneycare, which then became Obamacare. So that was, and Obama did offer, asked Republicans for a lot of help and suggestions, and they just didn't want to do it. I mean, but they did not. I mean, I don't think Obamacare was a left-wing policy, right? I mean, it was a sort of centrist, in some ways center-right, right? I mean, the big critique of it, I think, would be it was a blowjob to the insurance companies, right? I mean, to get some concessions from the insurance companies, you could argue, Obama gave up the store, right? To get sort of no pre-existing condition bias and stuff like that. I mean, this is not a sort of kind of left-wing, and I think most people on the left would have wanted to do, right? And I don't think anybody on the left is expecting people would want to much more either Medicare for all or single payer or something like that.
Well, this is the thing about the federated republic idea, that there's some really broadly contrasting opinions from state to state. And so that's where you got things like what Hillary was saying, or by the way, what Obama said, that he's just essentially not interested in the people clutching their Bibles and guns. Or in the case of Hillary, the sexist, homophobic, Islamophobe, that sort of...
Well, what he said was when people get anxious, some people tend to cling to their Bibles and their guns. And he's not wrong about that. It's just, you can't say that shit. People feel condescended when you say that shit.
Well, it is condescending.
Yes, and the left, it does. I mean, look, this is the left. We are condescending. I think people. This is one of the reasons I think Trump, and why so many on the right, so many evangelicals and folks in the middle of the country love Trump, because he punches back against condescending elitism. Right? He's a one-man wrecking ball to that stuff.
I agree. I think the left has this notion of moral superiority in terms of their opinions are more refined, better, and more enlightened than conservatives.
And I think
conservatives are condescending all the time, right? It's only another principle. The only condescension we're worried about now is condescension that right-wingers dislike. So a prime example of this is who says white people spend too much time focused on sports and not enough time focusing on school. They spend more time focusing on education than on better outcomes, which is just like patently what conservatives say about black people all the time. It's exactly the same.
haven't been in Ohio.
I've never been to Ohio.
It's not great.
I've got you beaten over. I've never. I went to I'm just making the point that it's only a certain sort of condescension that is viewed as.
Well, one is a presidential candidate who eventually won, and one is a guy that most people couldn't even pronounce.
I mean, Trump is very condescending to cities, right? To people who live in cities.
How is he condescending?
He says that cities are hellholes.
I haven't heard him say that.
You've never heard it. You've never heard.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard him say that. Yeah.
Hello?
You know what?
Hello?
Cities are cities.
It's time.
I think I want to do. You know what I want to
allowing a quietness of spirit to come in. Feel the blood flowing through your arms and legs, through your body, and relaxing. Take a deep breath. Hold it as long as you comfortably can. And then let it out slowly.